Dr. Lonny here, and welcome back to another episode with Good Sense Soap Co. Today, I'm going to be sharing what I know about soap stamps, soap stamp making, and soap stamping. Um, I continue to learn, continue to grow, and I'm just making these videos to help pass along that knowledge as a retiree and doing this as a hobby business. I'm really excited about the techniques and the learning that's occurring as I work through the process. So I hope you enjoy it too. If you do, like, follow, and subscribe to this channel, that would be greatly appreciated, and it will keep you updated on any new episodes that come out. So again, we're going to focus on soap stamp making today. So I'm going to start off with how do I make a soap stamp. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen through my Tinkercad application. And here, this is one of my soap stamp designs, and we're going to talk about others. But this is just a simple um, kind of a handheld single piece soap stamp um, with a flat bottom and top. We'll talk more about that here in just a minute. But the one I'm going to make right now is one that I want to make for my own soaps. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say handmade by Good Sense Soap Co. So we're going to make this a little smaller so that it will fit on the face of the soap, like so. And then we're going to have to make it a little smaller so that it will go down into the soap. So let's make that a 5 millimeters. And then we're going to make it go down a bit into the soap, like that. That will leave about 3 millimeters above the soap for the stamp. It can be more than that, it can be less than that, but you want to make sure that it's the right height to be able to get into the soap. Um, I'm going to move, I'm going to move that up just a little bit. We'll fix that later. And then I'm going to replicate it. So I'm going to do Control D, and that's going to, I'm sorry, it's going to give us a copy of it. I'm going to move that down like that. Then I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to say by. I'm going to use the @ sign. And this is where I'm not sure if it will all fit. Um, so that's basically how you make the text. Now the question is, if I really make that small, is that going to be too small for soap making? That's basically how it is. I'm going to take the soap stamp out for now, and we're going to create a little space like that. And I'm going to, and actually, I think if we get rid of that by, it will create more space. There we go. And maybe we can even make that a little bigger, like that. The other thing that we can do is we can make these a different font. This is this multi-language font. I think if we make it a Sans Mono is a little compressed. Sans serif might be good. And then if we do this sans serif, or serif, I'm sorry. And then I can select both of those. I can center them together like that. Make sure that they're about at the same height, which they should be, yes. Okay, then I can bring them back onto the stamp. And actually, let me do this first. I'm going to merge these. Then I'm going to bring them back onto the stamp. And then I'm going to pick them all, and then we're going to center it on the stamp like that. And then I can merge all of that. All right. So that looks pretty good, doesn't it? There's only one problem. There's only one problem. And that is that handmade needs to be reversed because we are stamping down. It's actually got to be the reverse of what it will be on the soap. So what we have to do there is flip it like that, 180 degrees. There we go. And I'm going to copy this, and I'll show you why here in just a minute. We'll move this back. We'll recenter it. Align it. All right. And that's our soap stamp. So now what we can do is flip this. Let's see, flip this around 180 degrees again. So if you notice on a lot of stamps, they say what's on the stamp inside on the top of the stamp. So we're going to do the same thing. So let's move this over here. Move it up just a tad. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make so we're going to make that a hole instead of a solid. Put it back here. Center them. And this time it's right side up so you can read them. And then rather than it being raised, we're going to lower it into the soap like that. Now when I combine them, for that to render, let's move this up a little bit. So what, and then we'll zoom in. So what we have now is we have an embossed or engraved of what the soap is. And then on the bottom, that way, on the other side is the actual soap stamp. Pretty cool, huh? So let's go ahead and we're going to save that as an STL file. We'll call it soap and made. Save that. And then we're going to stop share. And then the next step is to use another utility, which I'll now share, called Cura. So we're going to open that. Soap stamp handmade. And there it is. I'm going to move it up towards the front of the grid. And for this, so you select the quality of print because it's a soap stamp. I'm not needing as high of a quality of print. But because it's a smaller object, I'm going to want a brim instead of a skirt. And I'm also going to want to flip this so that it's printing flat side down, and then it will do the raised part at the end. So let's see what that looks like. So you can see this is a 3D rendered model for a 3D printer. That's what Cura does. So we're going to slice that. And we're going to print that via USB. And I'll be right back so that we can see the output. So we'll be right back. So here's our handmade in Tennessee soap mold. All right, get it right set up. There you go. In reverse, and let's go try it out. All right, so let's try this out on this bar of soap. This is just one that I had laying around, so we're going to go ahead and press that in. All right, I did end up using a mallet, but look at that. Oh, that is awesome. I think I can use that on all my soaps. So the next step is to create a resin mold, silicone mold for the stamp that then I'm going to pour resin into and create a hard resin cast of the soap stamp that will make a fine addition to my collection. I love that. So what do you think? So stay tuned, and we'll be back with the next step, which is making the resin cast of this stamp. So to do the resin model of the stamp, I decided to reprint the 3D model to pour the silicone from which the resin can be formed. So I'm reprinting the stamp with a box around it so I can pour the silicone. One other thing that I'm doing is I'm standing it on its end, which should also improve the quality of the print. So if I go over here, and now we're looking at it in Tinkercad, you can see that I've put a box around it and the stamp is standing on end. And then I save that, and now we have it in Cura for printing, and that's what we're doing right now. So looking forward to seeing this come out. We'll pour the silicone here in a few hours and get that firmed up so we can do the resin. Hang tight. So as this finishes up, you can see that we had a brim around the bottom. And what that does is it helps to stabilize it. Since this is a bit taller, we didn't want it collapsing, obviously, after 5 hours of printing. So this is just final stages of building the box, and then we're going to get ready to pour the silicone rubber to make the mold. And here is the completed model. You can see the stamp there, and I built the box around it. I taped it up just to make sure that we don't have any leakage, and I have my silicone rubber ready to go, so we're just going to pour it in there. Hopefully I made enough. Here it comes. Get that up to the top. Excellent.
And then I'm just going to tap it down just to make sure that everything gets into all the crevices good. You see some of those bubbles still coming up. And let that set for a few hours, and we'll demold it, and we'll be ready for our resin. So hang tight. And here's the end result of the 3D print with silicone rubber poured in. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the box. We'll end up with the silicone rubber with the 3D model of the stamp in there, and we'll take it the next step. So this is the stamp that I ended up going with, Handmade Tennessee. So you can see that the letters are nice and big and bold, and we have them on the stamp side with sufficient depth to be able to get them into the soap. And as you can see, they are reversed, so they stamp the right side, and nice and crisp and clear off the 3D printer. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it in a silicone rubber mold, and then we're going to put resin in that and try to see if we can get a resin version of this stamp. So hang tight. So here again is the stamp that we ended up with. Turned out really good, nice and sharp. And I've poured it a mold for it. Believe it or not, that is a mold. And I've have a slit in it so to pour the resin, and that will keep it all intact. And so we're going to do that next. All right, so here's how our stamp turned out. It is really cool, but I still have some learning to do on how to make molds for the soap stamps if I'm going to try to make them out of a 3D model. But I think that this part turned out really good. I lost the embossed letters on the upper part because of the way I had to make the mold, but we'll work that out. I think the stamp part worked out really good. So I'm going to go ahead and try to stamp this soap that I just made with Old Time Barbershop scent. It's an amazing scent. We're going to go ahead and stamp that. I'm going to spray it with isopropyl alcohol first, and then likely use my mallet to get a deep impression, and we'll be right back. And here's the result. Now that turned out really nice. So like anything, I hope to improve over time, and this is my first attempt. I thought it went really well, so hope you enjoyed it, and please like, follow, and subscribe to this channel, and we'll have more content coming soon. Take care.